Hey sakap guys, this is the Silicon Power A55 M.2 SATA SSD. You know what, let's just call it A55 because I don't have the required skill to output this much words in that short period of time. I'm not a rapper. It's a cheap SSD that you can use to speed up your computer. You can use it as a boot drive, or if you're on a budget, you can use it to run your favorite creative set of apps. I've been using it for about 11 months now, and here are my thoughts about it. The A55 comes in the M.2 2280 form factor, which means you'll be able to hook it up in almost all the motherboards, either desktops or laptops. And even if your laptop doesn't have the M.2 connector, pro tip, you can always use a SSD caddy to connect the SSD in the SATA port of the DVD drive. There shouldn't be any surreal bottleneck, even if you're unlucky and it's still using SATA 2 interface. This one is 128 gig, but you're going to be able to buy a 64, 128, 255, 512, and even 1 terabyte if you so please. If we look at the top, we can see 4 pads, but only 2 NAND chips are actually populating them. There is another TLC version that only has 1 pad occupied. That's normal because it uses a 3D NAND configuration, which means that the cell blocks are stacked on top of each other, and TLC means that there is actually 3 bits of data stored per cell. If we were to compare this NAND config, SLC takes up more die space per capacity because you can only write 1 bit of data per cell, which decreases the possible capacity and increases the price, but because the cells are overwritten less than TLC ones, they wear out slower, thus making them more durable. But not all SLC are created equal. On the Amazon page, you may see people complaining about their drives dying after only 6 months or so. I got mine in January and I'm still using it till this day, and it's still at 98% health. You can check this out using the SP tools. I'll get on more about this later. 3D NANDs have the benefit of using less electricity and outputting less heat, but it costs more to manufacture. If we look at the front, we can see the SATA controller, and pro tip, anytime you see a SSD M.2 with 2 notches, B and M key, it means that they're SATA SSD, and when they only have 1 M key, it means that they're actually a NVMe drives. Now to the benchmarks. My primary use of the disk is video editing, so it makes sense to use the Blackmagic Disk Speed Test utility. And big disappointment, the drive was only able to achieve a speed of 23.8 megabytes per second write and 3.7 gigs of read speed. That's way worse than even the slowest HDD. And speaking of HD, let's see what the 1TB 5400 RPM Toshiba MQ01 ABD100 can do. Wait, what? 81.5 megabytes per second write and 81.9 read? You know what, this video is over. I've wasted your time. Come back next week.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
What you see here is a real write speed, but they're being bottlenecked by this Windows feature called disk compression. What the system is doing, it's compressing the file to reduce their size on the drive, and each time you're opening them, the CPU will have to uncompress them in order to be able to read it properly, depending on the type of file you're working with. And there is where comes the bottleneck, because the Blackmagic utility has to write and read a file stored on the disk, and because it's compressed, the speed are way slower. So the way to fix this is to disable disk compression for the folders you don't want to be compressed, and voila, there is the real speed that the SSD can achieve in this benchmark. So you'll be able to edit even 4K files on your favorite NLE if your system can keep up with it. A 128 gigs won't cut it if you work with a lot of uncompressed files. Using Auto and Crystal Disk Benchmark tool, you can see the SSD can achieve sequential speed that are better than the average SATA SSD. For some real-world tests, I tried to move Adobe Premiere and After Effects folder from their location to the new uncompressed folder. It took about 7 minutes. That's not really bad because these folders have a lot of small files in them, and copying a single 5 gigs takes way less time than 5 gigs of lots of little files. This is so true when I'm moving this kind of files around, archiving them without any compression applied, and then copying the disk file takes far less time than just moving the whole folder to the destination, although it's just 2 clicks. But after copying the Adobe folders, I redid it because the test folder didn't have compression activated, so it took only 3 minutes to copy the 2 folders, which is awesome. The SP toolbox that you can download on their website shows you your device info. Here you can see I have a total of 6.35 TB written. Next to it is the drive temperature that never exceeded 48 degrees while doing the benchmarks. You can see the drive health, read the smart data, and look over your wear count. And there you can also do a diagnostic scan. The estimated MTBF, short for mean time between failures, is 1.5 million hours. Due to the fact that this drive doesn't get hot, using SLC makes it a great tool to accelerate your laptop or desktop, but for anything serious, I'd probably get a better or faster drive. For its performance, it'll be really great as a cache drive for an app like After Effects, even though it's 128 gigs. Can I recommend this as your work drive? Of course not. From a price to performance ratio, you'll get a better value by buying a larger and faster drive depending on your needs. As a boot drive, even based on its performance, the answer will still be no. You can get cheaper and smaller drive to use as a boot drive. But if you have it, you didn't pay for it. Just know that it's okay for a boot drive. You can install your favorite apps on it and get better performance if you come from using an HDD. Play with the disk compression settings as previously shown if you want. My name is Kensley, thanks for watching this video and I will see you in the next one.